Today, we shall be discussing a fascinating topic which is at the very heart of this conference. This topic is the secret sauce to the future reimagined and is everywhere. It continues to grow at lightning speed and whose impact will undoubtedly be felt in all aspects of our lives. It has often been described as the new oil, but like oil needs refinement to get value. So what is this mysterious thing? One word: data. There has been no shortage of change in the workplace over recent years. More than ever, companies are seeking to maximize the insights they get from their data to gain a competitive advantage. With the race to implement more intelligent solutions, data quality and capabilities are more critical than ever. However, as we shall see, an alarming number of data projects fail. It seems that our actions alone are not enough. Success is determined by the activities and experience of all those involved. This is why it's essential to understand how best to direct our efforts to maximize our chances of success. Today, we shall look at all aspects of data. We should consider why data is essential, take a deep dive into some actual data and shine a light on operational insights, and finally, take a look at some cool technology providers who are accelerating data innovations. We shall also try and have some fun along the way. So without delay, let's get started. Firstly, I'd like to introduce you to my friend Dave. Dave is a data scientist and he will be helping me throughout this talk. Before we look in detail at data and its role in the future, I'd like to start by asking you a simple question. How many of you have ever overpromised but underdelivered? Put another way, has anyone been disappointed by the business results they got following a project? Gartner reports that 85% of big data projects fail. Perhaps the harshest finding is that 80% of data insights fail to deliver any measurable business outcome. If these statistics are accurate, we should be shocked and embarrassed as technology leaders and must do better. Key to the success of maximizing the value we get from data is the role of the data scientist. Take Dave here, a 20-year-old something data scientist recently out of university. Arguably the sexiest new role, we all want many Daves working for us. However, as we can see, for Dave to be effective, he requires a mixture of multidisciplinary skills, ranging from mathematics, statistics, computer science, communication, and business knowledge. Finding a data scientist with all these attributes is hard. Finding people who understand a data scientist and know how to get the most out of them is equally challenging. So let's watch a short film about Dave as he embarks on his role and the challenges he faces. So, what's the future? We are living in truly exciting times. Technologies such as robotics, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and the Internet of Things will profoundly impact the markets, our people, and introduce unprecedented levels of operational efficiencies. All these technological advancements will be powered by data that they capture and generate.
Data doesn't sleep for anyone. To give you an idea of the rate of growth, here are some eye-watering numbers. In the time it takes me to present this slide, there will be 87 million emails sent, 10 years of new video added to YouTube, 18,000 tweets, and hopefully some positive ones about this conference, and over 2,000 new products sold on Amazon. When we look at data, it can typically be broken down into 3 categories. The first category is self-reported data, and this will include things such as email addresses, names. The second is system-generated data, so things such as geolocations. And finally, there's profiling data. This is a combination of self-reported data, system-generated data, and other data which can be used to enrich what we know about the person. There are also 4 types of data analytics which increase in value and complexity. The first is descriptive. This tells you what's happening in your business. It's usually comprehensive, accurate, and uses live data with effective visualizations. The second is diagnostic. This is telling you why something is happening, and it gives you the ability to drill down to root causes. The third is predictive. This is what's likely to happen. This uses business strategies have remained fairly constant over time, so historical patterns can be used to predict specific outcomes using algorithms. Decisions are automated using these algorithms and technology. And finally, prescriptive. Arguably the most complex but highest in value, this will tell you what you need to do. It gives you recommended actions and strategies based on a champion-challenger testing strategy of outcomes. Applying advanced analytics techniques, it can make specific recommendations.
An essential part of our role as leaders is to drive value generation for our shareholders, whether for profit or for benevolent causes. If we look at the macro trends on how companies generate value, we can see that over the past 50 years, there has been a significant shift towards intangible assets. Intangible assets include such things as patents, brand value, software, and importantly, data. If we look at the top growing companies across different vertical markets, typically they are investing nearly 3 times as much in intangible assets than their peers. I think this tells us all we need to know about the potential value of data and why investing in it is so crucial to the future success of our companies. Artificial intelligence and data technologies feature strongly across Gartner's top strategic technologies for next year. Here are some of their predictions to look out for. Gartner predicts that by 2024, data fabric deployments will quadruple efficiency in data utilization while cutting human-driven data management tasks in half. By 2023, more than a third of large organizations will have analysts practicing decision intelligence, including decision modeling. By 2025, the 10% of enterprises that establish AI engineering best practices will generate at least 3 times more value from their AI efforts than the 90% of enterprises that do not. And by 2025, generative AI will account for 10% of all data produced, which is up from less than 1% today. Exciting times. If we look at the Gartner Artificial Intelligence Hype Curve, we get a view of the 20 most relevant technologies driving more actionable and relevant data insights. Quoting Gartner directly, the speed of the evolution makes it difficult for leaders to distinguish between the hype and the disillusionment encompassing analytics innovation. Equally significant, these innovations have changed the necessary skills a business requires. Therefore, any investments must also be supported with appropriate training to get the full benefits that these innovations may bring. All businesses can be improved in some way, and many face a painful battle to tackle aging systems that hinder maximising insights from data. Typically, we find the following. Business processes are highly manual, complex, and require the involvement of multiple teams to close off tasks. Due to the manual nature of the activity, there is a lack of data consistency, making it harder to perform tasks and make informed decisions. This results in more specialist skills and knowledge being required, increasing the overall time and effort to perform operations. From a management perspective, there is not enough visibility, and it can be challenging to determine the value of data. And even when new data insights are discovered, there are often no mechanisms to get this into production, frustrating the whole analytical process. These challenges ultimately lead to a business being held back. If we look at the needs of a data scientist, we can see that much stuff needs to be present for them to become fully effective. The most important message of this slide is that artificial intelligence and machine learning sits at the top. Therefore, if you want to do machine learning, you need solid foundations. You need robust data pipelines that collect, transform, and load the data. You need tools to query this big data efficiently. You also need a solid infrastructure to run your algorithms. You need orchestrators. You need to keep track of your past experiments and the data sets used at the time. There is a vast number of technical prerequisites. Machine learning models are a tiny part of the overall system, and that more attention should be given to other non-machine learning parts. There is a massive mismatch between what most companies need and what data scientist practitioners want to do. This becomes clear when you make a side-by-side comparison between a traditional data analyst and with that of a data scientist. What do you think? So, this poses a question about the need for a Dave. Is a data scientist a luxury? Or is there an alternative, more effective strategy? More on this later, but first, let's look at some actual data to understand how simple but effective analysing new data sets can be. We are now going to look at some real-life metadata produced by business systems. The following slides shows the results of an analysis exercise to discover new data insights from this data. The data has been anonymized, but the final distribution diagrams still provide a good indication of the patterns of data being generated by these systems. The goal of this exercise was to search for new insights, previously unseen patterns, and to find behavioural inefficiencies to unlock gains. Over the following two slides, we shall look in detail at two areas. Firstly, call data, and then work task data to show performance patterns. The first scatter graph shows call data for a team over a 6-week period. Each dot on this chart represents a day and is plotted against a specific time of day with its corresponding performance metric. Here we have highlighted all of the calls that took place at 10 AM. For calls, the performance metric is the average time for handling those calls. Thus, the higher the dot, the longer the average call on that day took. So here we've highlighted all the calls that took on average 9 minutes to answer. We can see from this scatter graph that there's a high degree of variability in performance. On the 17th of June at 10 AM, on average calls were taking more than 9 minutes. But at the same time on the 10th of May, they were taking much less. We've even found some really high outliers. In this second scatter graph, the same pattern plays out. This time we are looking at work task data for the same time period. Again, each dot is an individual day plotted against a specific time. Here the performance metric is the volume of tasks closed at that time of day. We can see that there is a high degree of variability in performance. If we try and remove the outliers, as shown by the dotted horizontal lines, we can see the area that we need to target more often to improve consistency. Indeed, even between these dotted lines, there is a variance of 200%. The use of AI in algorithms can help smooth out this distribution and help us achieve a more consistent performance level on a more regular basis. In the future, cognitive processes will help us achieve this, as we shall see later in this talk. This analysis led to a deep dive into behaviours of staff and to attempt to identify the factors impacting performance. The first step was to perform something called a noise audit. This approach was taken from a recent behavioural science book, also titled Noise. This is an excellent read, co-authored by Daniel Kahneman, who is attributed as one of the founders of behavioural science. I really recommend it if you would like to get a deeper understanding of what impacts human decision making. In a noise audit, you take a small cross-section of the team and give them the same case to see if they all arrive at the same decision. The team do not know others have been given the case. In our example, the subject matter was insurance claims, and the team conducting the exercise were all claims adjusters. Somewhat surprisingly, we ended up with a large spread of decisions, despite the input being the same. The next step was to look to understand what factors were determining the judgment. Was it the individual's experience, or work location, time of day, workload, or was it the weather? Finally, we were able to take all of this insight and come up with a personalised next steps. These insights could all be automated to aid the decision-making process and optimize performance levels. Gartner gives data storytelling a high benefit rating. Data storytelling combines data visualization with commentary to deliver insights in a compelling and easy to understand format. Data storytelling is vital as it helps leaders overcome the gap between technical actions required and business results. Many decision makers selectively use data delivered to them, and a common difficulty is being able to relate functional performance to that of overall business results. However, storytelling makes it possible to weave together unique descriptive data insights to bridge this gap and improve decision making. Let's look at one of the leaders.
Using some very clever technology, Doclan can map all aspects of an IT environment. Here we see a time-lapse video of a large IT estate and how it has changed over a 2-year period. This graphical overview makes it possible to show business teams and boards just how technically complex the world they work in really is. I have used this to support investment decisions on many occasions, and there is nothing more potent than clearing a board table to roll out a 9-foot blueprint diagram that everyone can gather around. It becomes memorable, which is at the heart of storytelling. But this software is more than just a high-level view. As we can see, it's possible to interact with the data and, using touchscreens, zoom into the smallest amount of detail. This is fantastic when training new team members, designing changes, or capturing the knowledge of experienced staff should they leave. Doclan can also bring to life any IT playbooks, whether it is M&A activity, business continuity plans, or in this example, cybersecurity. This is powerful when showing third-party cyber insurers the processes in place to mitigate risks. Here we see an example of a phishing process. The software can also be used to filter topologies to highlight critical areas of risk or areas under change. I think you'd all agree that the simpler we can make IT, the better.
Now on to prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics provides capabilities to automate decision making to improve a business's response time and deliver more optimal outcomes. As we will see, using prescriptive tools greatly aids strategic, tactical and operation decisions to reduce risks, maximize profits, minimize costs, and to improve resource allocation.
Next thing, collect real-time data to monitor the health of your IT estate continuously. Through the insights they generate, not only can Nexthink predict the experience a member of staff is having with their systems, they can also prescribe what the best course of action is to fix it. This enables companies to take informed and preemptive actions that both benefit staff and drive better business outcomes. It makes it possible for IT leaders to tailor IT to suit employee work styles and focus on outcomes instead of outputs. Ultimately, these insights enable informed investment decisions and shines the spotlight on actual employees' experience of IT, which is key to any overall business performance. In this real example by FHI 360, they were able to use Nexthink's insights to avoid large unnecessary spend whilst improving their overall employee experience of IT.
Using natural language enables automatic processing and leveraging of vast quantities and types of text-based unstructured data. These can include documents, emails, text messages, invoices, receipts, etc. With speech to text, NLP can also process speech, including live streams of text and speech. As a result, NLP enables a vast array of applications and automation that previously were not achievable, offering businesses significant levels of operational improvement. NLP is a business enabler, typically valuable when built into applications that support business workflows. Because so many tasks involving unstructured data have relied on human effort, the potential for savings is vast. Let's look at some real examples.
In this first example, we look at a partnership between Britannic Technologies and Google to transform a contact center using voice analytics. A voice AI chatbot has been deployed into the call process to directly interact with customers and unlock the power of Google. In this short clip, you will see a member of the team pretending to be a customer and conversing directly with the Google robot. The robot captures information from the customer and auto-populates the system. By taking information such as vehicle registration and date of birth, the robot is able to automatically identify the customer in the system. At the end of the verification process, the robot is able to hand the call back to the contact center staff to complete the call with the customer. This automation enables intelligent customer journeys, faster decisions, and results in significant operational savings. Next, we shall take a look at robotic processing by Kofax. Using QR codes on customer documentation and OCR technology, they have been able to significantly improve customer journeys. In this short clip, a customer has used a QR code on a letter to access a dedicated app. Using their phone's camera, they can then take a picture of their driving license, which is automatically checked by the app before being seamlessly uploaded into the line of business systems for processing by the teams back in the office. This speeds up business cycle times and again has huge potential to yield significant operational savings.
And finally, let's take a look at citizen data science. Citizen data science is a set of capabilities and practices that allow businesses to extract advanced insights from data, but without the need for data scientists. This speeds up the time it takes to get insights from data and helps drive more informed business decisions. Gartner classes this innovation as transformational due to the profound impact it will have on organizations. This technology forms the foundations of the next generation of analytics. It can be used to make data insights more accessible and narrow the talent gap caused by the shortage and high costs of data scientists.
If we look at some immerser screens, we can see that whilst information is being collected, users can visualise their KPIs and make instant decisions based on their data. Powerful algorithms are deployed to a secure platform, bridging the gap between data science and business users, delivering value instantly. Sentiment analysis from voice or text provides insight at point of contact and provides the ability for users to interact with data using natural language. So when considering the innovations which will form the foundations of the next generation of analytics, here is a handy checklist. Can the system ingest, map, model, enrich, report, enable science and analytics? Immerser 365 is one to watch, but I guess I would say that, wouldn't I?
So to conclude, the continued explosion of data volumes will drive the reimagined future. In every aspect of our life, data will provide more bespoke products and help us make more intelligent decisions. We have seen that market-leading companies will continue to increase their value by using intangible assets to their advantage. Innovations in data technologies will continue to make it easier for companies to get the most from their data without the need for complex infrastructure and expensive specialist resources like data scientists. Machine learning will aid decision-making, transforming the shape of business operations as we know them today. Data storytelling will help leaders overcome the void between technical teams and business operations, enabling more informed investment decisions. And citizen data science will form the foundations of the next generation of analytics. This will enable insights to be more accessible and narrow the talent gap due to shortages of high cost and highly skilled resources like Dave. So it is time for us to all be bold and unleash the power of data, build better products for our customers, create a more engaging environment for our staff, and drive the generation of value for our shareholders. These are exciting times. And finally, before we go, let's revisit our superhero data scientist, Dave, to see how he's getting on.